Welcome everyone to the Privacy Rules Privacy Espresso. My name is Andrea Chmielewski-Bigazzi and I am the coordinator of Privacy Rules Alliance. Together with us today there is Joe Dehner, who is the chairman of Privacy Rules, luckily for us, and he is also a counsel at Frost Brown Todd law firm in the United States. The Privacy Espresso is a new format that we are launching today for the first time. It's a very concise, effective, to-the-point advice that you can receive on data protection and cybersecurity matters from our experts all over the world, and also from some guest speakers. It's the end of the year, so we take the chance also to wish to all of you a happy, prosperous, and safe 2021. And let's get started, because the topic that we are debating today with Joe is very challenging. Joe, what's the main threat that you see in 2021 to data privacy?
Well, first, Happy New Year to everybody. Some parts of the world, as we are talking, is already a new year, isn't it? Now, I'm going to give you a surprising answer. I think it's the splinternet. It's the biggest threat.
And what do you mean by splinternet?
Well, some people call it cyber balkanization. But what it is two things, really. It's nations creating firewalls and restricting data to just within their nation or blocking other nations. But it's more than that. It's companies also that are really creating what I call digital tribes. We end up within we choose a particular political persuasion or a religion or something else, and then we get captured by the way companies create the technology that we're using in the what we've called the internet to really create sub-internets, or what we call them the splintering of the internet. That's really what's going on. And remember that this is really caused at root because nations, companies are different from people. We all want to be able to access information, ideas, new concepts anywhere in the world, not just from your neighbor or the person in your city or on your farm. That's what drives the world forward. That's what makes it so interesting. This is enshrined in the Declaration of Universal Human Rights after the devastating World War II. And yet nations have reasons they want to block things, and companies certainly have commercial reasons why they want you only within their little bubble. This is, in my view, a great threat to human privacy and human development.
I see, Joe. This is very interesting. So what should we do about it?
We're going to do our best. It depends. Get out and vote is one thing. Express your point of view. Others might disagree with this, but let me give you some examples of how dangerous this is. Russia, for example, and not just Russia, India, China have developed data localization laws. Now let's just think about that for a minute. What if instead of a great firewall and censorship of information in China, anybody could have posted in the city of Wuhan, oh, we've got a new virus emerging, and anyone in the world would have known that immediately, and anyone could have jumped on it and done something about it. We would have saved hundreds of thousands of lives had that been the case. Now, China is a law and order country. I'm not arguing about the politics. That's up to China and what people in China want to do. But just imagine if we truly had an internet where anyone is free to post and share information, how in that instance, it would have been a good thing. But on the other hand, do we really want anyone publishing how to make a nuclear bomb or posting child pornography? No, we don't want to do that. And if you're an Islamic republic, do you want anyone making fun of your religion or portraying God as a human being? No, you don't want that. And so this is the problem of nation states and people, which is how the world's organized today. And we're going to have for, I think, a very long time. But surely we can find a way to share information across borders so that individuals are free to develop their own human dignity and to protect their own personal privacy. Those are the two sides of this.
Joe, this is really very interesting, and it's very philosophical to some extent, but you also discuss about the balkanization, which gives a visual perspective about it. So would you have any practical tip for companies how they should, educate or help their personnel on the danger of the splinter?
Well, there are ways to do this. Take Google. Google was not able to really to get into China the way it's into the United States and into Europe, but it set up Dragonfly, which respects the Chinese laws on sensitive information, and yet is able to participate in developing search engines within China. That's one way of thinking about this. So one must respect the laws wherever they may be, country by country. But data doesn't, it's like my background here. The world isn't, you don't see lines on here for when one state ends and another begins. And that's how information spreads these days with the internet. So we have to devise basic understandings that all countries would respect and that anyone would think is a good idea, while respecting the critical rights of law and order within national boundaries. So that's the big challenge. And as to companies like Google, they have to think of ways to do what they're doing while respecting the national laws, certainly, and figuring out ways to do that. And as people, we need to be able to insist on two rights that sound conflicting, but they're not. One is to get information about things, and yet what Europe calls the right to be forgotten. Things about us that when we were 17, we're a little embarrassed to share when we're 70. And, you know, there are rights of privacy out here that I think most of the world, most nations in the world can respect about the privacy rights of individuals. But if we're not careful, we're going to run into things like this. The BBC has iPlayer. Well, Germans aren't allowed to listen to parts of that. Now, those are taking two democracies in Europe and saying, wait a minute, even there you have this common problem. So it'll be a great challenge for us. We all have to participate in this. And I think most people at root want information, ideas, regardless of where they come from.
That's, Joe, that's illuminating. And indeed, it projects us not only in 2021, but in the future. I'm sure that we will come back again and again to discuss about this topic. And indeed, actually, we will do also with other experts of privacy rules. We are pleased to be now in 54 countries around the world. And it's important that the laws are known everywhere. And so you can relate to experts that are in all these jurisdictions in order to know the latest in the country and what actually should be abided by companies when they want to operate there, and to individuals when they have curiosities, as you said. I wonder whether there is anyone in the public that would like to ask anything to our speaker today. We will be very happy for that. Otherwise, I think this is a very interesting presentation for today, and we can project ourselves in the next year.
Well, it's good to be with you, Andrea. And, you know, a lot of things going on in this. Take Norway. If you've got another minute or two. Norwegians can get 50,000 copyrighted books free, but only in Norway. Well, what if you have a Norwegian computer you take with you and you move over to Finland, where you are today, Andre? You know, this is the kind of border thing that's going on. And with privacy, I mean, I had a client who lives in Holland who got arrested in the United States on the suspicion of drunk driving. He doesn't want his mugshot shared. And by the way, he was never convicted. But US, well, too bad. It's public record. Europe, I have a right to be forgotten. These are the things we need to deal with no matter where we sit. We have to urge our governments to get together on what can be agreed while respecting the differences across borders.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Joe. And again, as I said, you are projecting us in 2021 and beyond. We will continue debating about this very sensitive topic with the other experts of privacy rules. So thank you very much for making this challenging presentation to some extent, because you give us thoughts, food for thoughts. But anyway, tonight probably not so many will be out partying for obvious reasons. So actually, this is the right occasion to think about it. And I remind to everyone that this is the beginning of a weekly appointment that we call different time zones. So we will alternate for European and Asian audiences. Please subscribe to our newsletter, follow us on our social media, LinkedIn and Twitter in particular, and you will receive regular updates on when we are calling for these meetings. Thank you very much. And again, happy 2021 to everyone.
Happy New Year to all.